I would like to thank you for clicking on to watch the video for the Dawson Walls Project, Home Depot, Fort McMurray, Alberta. The date is October 28th, 2025. Now that we've previewed from high above, going into sight. Recently, 3 days of rains at the most inopportune time of year have left what was once last week a nice dry site back and saturated. What you're not seeing right now, other than some remnants of, is the fact that everything here was white this morning. The snow quit falling around 11 a.m. and a little bit of temperature bringing it to where you can see limited amounts of snow now, but is turning back into water. Following the same flight paths as before to go down the grade beams to see where forming is. We can see Dawson Wallace has put tarps on top of the forms to keep snow from getting inside, for that the preheat for the pour, that we don't have snow to melt. The amount of energy that it takes to do that, trying to keep it civilized for the client. It's easier to keep the snow out of the forms than deal with it once it's inside. Green construction working on piers and pile caps. And off in the distance, down over in the loading docks, I believe we have Ward over there working on pumping, getting water to flow so we can get one pump, start getting the water out of the excavations. In order for Kitchton to have a successful backfill, we can't have water standing in the excavations. We're taking a look at creative industries right now, trying to be exactly that, creative. The amount of precipitation that came down, had it been snow, would be a little easier to scrape off. However, with 3 days of rain, even our best stacked spoil piles for material, we've wound up assessing them with too high of moisture to be able to make successful backfill. Therefore, you see a few of the creative guys over on the one side. The pile has been sifted through for the best condition material we can find right now, and getting it ready to start taking some heat overnight and some air to see if we can get some material into usable condition. Material needs to be generated for both behind the retaining wall and the foundations and grade beams. Wet saturated material now will just lead to delays in the spring, having to re-excavate and recondition material. So we'll take a flight by to look at the retaining wall, which now has 3 rows complete. That was on the books for getting the 3rd row backfilled at this point in time. Right now, our abilities are limited to finding dry materials. Going down the east side of the building by the retaining wall, see some of the poured pile caps being stripped. The Dawson Wallace crew is dewatering site right now, specifically concentrating on these areas where there was formed and poured pile caps, so the guys could get them stripped without hip waders, and where we don't have pile caps yet at this point in time, getting the water out so that the pourable water out of the excavations where the forms aren't sitting yet, so that those can actually be formed. Unfortunately, this seems to be the Fort McMurray way. The worst possible weather that we could entertain at this time of year has happened. You can see there's still water inside some of the pile cap excavations in the building. Those are secondary at this point in time to getting the perimeter foundations completed and then working from the south to the north. So just trying to take a total overview to finish out the site. That was the east half of the building. Now we'll go up the west half looking north. You can see the difference between different materials, stratas, the layers in the building, whereas one excavation will be completely full of water, yet another one not far away will have virtually nothing. As we go up for a little more bird's eye view, I'd like to thank you again for tuning in and watching, and stay tuned for the next show. Wishing all viewers a fantastic day.